How we doing, folks? Here, Bull Marcos on 205 numbers after the name Wasteland Wednesday. You know, the wasted one here is me. Black Ops 6, the first Black Ops 6 video we put on the channel outside of the beta, some domination on Derelict. I'm gonna be pretty honest with you on this one, man. I do very, very badly. I mentioned it yesterday in the video. This is my first game playing. It's an utter mess. It's just a disaster. I'm all over the place. I'm checking settings. I'm like, hold up, trying to figure out where I want my sensitivity at and how good or bad I'm doing it. But I always put, and I mentioned it yesterday, since I believe Modern Warfare 3, I put the first game up on the channel, so we can kind of see where we start and where we go. I will say that it gets a lot better after this. I've had some pretty damn good games. I've had some pretty bad ones. You know, I think, and I briefly mentioned it yesterday in the video, it's a really been up and down experience with Black Ops 6. More ups than downs. I like it a little bit more than I anticipated. I was a little bit worried after the beta. I was like, man, this just is not for me. People jumping around all over the place. That's just annoying. I don't got the time or patience for that. I'd prefer a little bit more of a grounded might not be the right word, but you know what I mean, like a little more of a traditional grounded Call of Duty experience. And you know, the time to kill is still a little bit on the faster side for me. So there's a couple things that just I'm not the biggest but there is a little bit of that Treyarch magic that kind of goes through, even though we are a little bit more on this Infinity Ward. Well, we are on this Infinity Ward engine, so I don't know, I feel like Treyarch's almost kind of mimicking itself. I feel the game, and I felt this a lot in the past couple Call of Duties, is maybe too big for itself. It launched with a full feature set and all that stuff, so that's good. But there are just a ton of very random glitches and stuff like that happen. I feel like with every update, something new comes up. I mentioned to you one here that happened the other day. There was a kind of the first nerf to some things and an update and whatnot, you know, to the recon stuff, and they had a nuke town, stuff like that. And afterwards, for some reason, the gunsmith, my reticles on the guns just disappeared, and then they reappeared. I read even this morning, I recorded this on a Tuesday, that they already fixed that. So they're on top of it. I'm not telling you to not pay attention, but it's weird. After every update, I feel like I have to go and see. I was like, okay, this got updated. Let's see what else got messed up. I don't know. So a little bit tricky in that sense. And that's one of those where I just feel like there's so many moving pieces in the whole game as a whole. But I'm just strictly speaking about multiplayer, that it's kind of a beast to handle. Overall, I'm positive about the impressions I had in this game. I'm not overwhelmingly positive. I'm not over here telling you that this is the Call of Duty experience. I'm not telling you any of that. I think there's some stuff working for it and some stuff working against it. I think graphically it looks really good. And you know, we don't really talk that much about graphics of a Call of Duty game. Gameplay is kind of king for me. I think graphically it stands out to me. I'm like, okay, cool. It has that Treyarch aesthetic as well, with different maps and different colors and everything pops in different scenarios. I'll give you a negative, and that might be the maps. It's weird. I don't hate any of the maps per se. I've never really traditionally hated any of the maps. I never really understood. There's, you know, when you be playing and then somebody be like, man, we can't go on there, man. No. Let's back out. I'm not playing this, man. I've never understood that philosophy, man. There's some maps I like more. There's some maps I like less. Whatever that jungle map was, for example, in Black Ops 2, that was very long and you know, big sniper thing, and had that random building that was a factory, and then the other side, people hated that thing. I don't know, I play it, I'd have a good time. Do you get the 1,000 kills that you would in fire range? No, but you play it differently, and that's why I don't really mind too many of these maps. The issue I do have with some of the maps in particular is the spawns, man, and I just... And I hope the spawn logic gets better, but it is in such a bad place, and it was in a worse place in the beta, so I mean, I guess they've shown that they could improve it. I feel, you know, specifically in the very, very, very small maps, not to mention that in Derelict it happened too, you could literally spawn and there could be a dude to your right, and that's it. It happens way too much in this game, way too much. And for some reason, it always feels like you're the one who's getting popped by it. I've never really spawned and there's a guy, trying to shoot down a UAV next to me, that never happened. But boy, if I tried to do that, man, whew, you're in for it. But in particular, the smaller maps, right? Nuketown, Babylon. Subsonic can be that way, but Subsonic is so weird that I don't know. I feel like that one is almost understood that you're spawning, you know, whatever. But Domination especially, because it really forces you to be spawning whatever flag you're at until there is no recourse. In Babylon, you could spawn on A, and there could be a dude in A, and you will keep spawning, and that guy will keep shooting you, and you better hope between you and your teammates you figure out, or he has to reload at some point, and you could shoot them. And I just, for the love of me, like, you could flip that a little bit quicker. No one's gonna be like hurting about that. Nuketown is a spawn trap haven when it comes to domination, and even some of the other game modes. I'm not gonna lie, if it's played right, to the point where like you spawn and you are getting shot. Like there's not even protection. I feel all that stuff just it really dampens the experience. Like Nuketown, for example, I really like Nuketown in this game, and I've traditionally never been a big Nuketown person, but I like once again how clean it looks. I like how it plays. I like how they didn't try any gimmicks or anything. It's just Nuketown and all that stuff. But then you get into some of these games and you're like, man, like what is going on? And on the flip side, if you are the one spawn trapping, which I'm not gonna lie, I just don't. I usually just give the other team enough, and maybe that's my mistake, but I usually give enough breathing room to move, because why the hell do I just want to stand here looking at people spawning and dying? But if you're the one spawn trapping, like it's not that fun. Like it just generally isn't as entertaining or engaging. So yeah, I have those gripes, especially with the maps. They're not necessarily any of them are standouts. I do enjoy Babylon. It's kind of like a shipment, kind of hot mess, but it is enjoyable. I like Subsonic personally, even though I think a lot of people think it's also a little bit of a hot mess. I like Derelict. I think this map's solid once again. And then the rest I do put in a lump sum of just, they're okay. They're okay. They're not bad, but they're okay. Is there anyone that I see that I really want to Payback? I do like Payback. That was also a smaller one map, though. It reminds me almost a little bit of Stronghold sometimes. I do like Payback. But yeah, and we're going to get some new maps over here with Season 1, and we're going to see. I believe they're very much leading into these shorter maps. I think that's just kind of a thing that they're doing, these smaller maps. We'll see how it plays out, but with all the movement and all the 16,000 bajillion things you could do, the smaller maps with the bad spawns is just a really combination. So yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs for me and how I feel about this game. Overall, I'm enjoying it. I'm playing the hell out of it. But I am cognizant that there are some things that hopefully will get fixed, and I think some things that are integral to the game. The movement itself, I mean, listen, you watch me play here, you'll see me do a little bit more maybe next week. I'm not crazy at the Omni movement thing. I slide a little more than I used to. I still don't do the whole jumping around thing. I will occasionally mistakenly dive and be like, damn it, I didn't mean to dive. Yeah, I don't know. The time to kill to me is a little bit too quick, but hey, is what it is. You gotta get used to that. Go play another game, but I would have preferred a little bit more triarchy, a little more spongy, but you know, the last thing I will harp on, no pun intended on this, is the score streaks in the game. Man, I mean, in order to get a damn score streak, Jesus Christ, you have to have a perfect game. My goodness gracious. So, basically, like, I really struggle to get any streaks. I'm talking about like a UAV. If I'm not using either the dispatcher perk or bankroll or a combination of both. In tactical game modes, if you have like all the greens and stuff, you get additional points for like taking over points or getting tags. That's awesome. That's really good stuff. I pretty much run that all the time. I mean, if you're playing Kill Confirmed and you're able to have that and pick up the tags, get the extra points every time you pick up a tag, I think it forces, or I don't know about forces, but it encourages people to play the objective, which is kind of what you want. Look at that, 1940. It couldn't get any worse. Well, it could get worse, but that's a rough start. So I think it's cool that it invites people to do that. I haven't seen that effect. I still play Domination. I'm the only guy on B. Like that's just like factual. Every game I play, very rarely is there another human on B actually helping me out. But you do get the points that benefit you and do that. But without that, my goodness, these streaks are pricey. So anyway, hope you enjoy the footage. It gets better next week. Trust me.